Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's your girl, Becky D, live in the morning, 7 days a week, 7 a.m. I am coming at you live on this Thursday, getting ready to tune in, get things done, okay? Getting ready to conquer the day and prepare for the things that we need to. I don't know about you, but I spent my Wednesday evening getting the to-do list drafted for today. So it's to me it's lengthy, but at the same time it's not, if that makes sense. It's a reasonable amount of stuff that needs to get done, and within reason. It's not nothing that is drastic, because you don't want to overdo yourself, okay? Coming from somebody who works day in, day out without any hesitation, it's a little easier to say, make sure you don't burn yourself out, but it's hard to do. I know personally that every day I try not to burn myself out, and some days it feels as though I get nothing done. But reality sets in, and the next morning when I wake up and I look back over all the things I did, I conquered that and more. So pat myself on the back sometimes because I did more than what I thought I could, which is great. I love surprises like that. You be like, whoa, wait a minute, I did that? And then you say, yes, I did. So those are the mindsets and the attitudes we should take in life and going through our everyday. Is to surprise ourselves. We focused all month, 23 days of strength, and we are coming up on a new month. It's right next week, y'all. Next week is knocking at the door. And on a Thursday is a day we test our strength. Most people would say a Monday or something like that, but I do believe it's a Thursday. It's nothing like trying to figure out if you'll be able to get things done, or if you'll be able to figure things out, or just, complete a task, wrap some things up so you can enjoy a full weekend. It's something about it that just kind of dances in your mind and in your spirit and in your soul, and you get kind of excited for it. So definitely something to think about on this day. But what I challenge you to do is to add one more thing to your to-do list. And on this Thursday, I'm asking you to simply close the book. Now, you are probably wondering, what do I mean by close the book? Well, take a walk with me down the journey of my mind. There are a lot of people out there awaiting closure and awaiting for the next best thing to happen, or for someone to simply come along and just change things and revolutionize their world. But realistically, you're the only one who can close the book. You're the only one who can change your mind and your heart and your soul and your spirit. You're the only one. So whatever book you have open that needed to be closed a long time ago, close it today. We're getting everything completed on a Thursday. Why not complete that today? It doesn't have to be all your books. It could just be one. So you have to do that. I cannot do it. Your friend cannot do it. Your neighbor cannot do it. I don't know anybody else but you who can do it. The biggest question is, do you want to do it? Okay. Sometimes we wait for confirmation to say, oh, no. When I get a sign, that's when I'll stop, at that job, or that's when I start looking for a new place to work, or whatever the case may be. What sign are you looking for? Job opening? A sign that says apply now? Or I'm confused, because we go our whole life looking for signs when we should realize our sign is in our strength. When we're at a strong moment where we are not necessarily questioning the strength, but where we are confident in the strength, that is the time we should move. That is the time we should act. That is the time that we should move forward. Close the book on the past. In that chapter, cap your pen and get ready to go on to the next thing. I don't know what signs we are waiting for, but I'm here to tell you that your sign is now. If you needed a sign, this is it. It's time to move on. It's time to keep going. If I ever waited for a sign to start this podcast, I would be waiting pretty much for the rest of my life. But what I did was saw opportunity, and I saw a way for me to stop making excuses and for me to start doing what I needed to do. It's not something that I take lightly. It's something that I take very seriously, because you all rely on good content. You go rely on someone who is of sound mind and body and spirit. I hold a greater burden when I don't get this completed. Not saying that my podcast is a burden, but saying that the incompleteness is a burden upon me. I don't know if I've said this before, but I am a bit of a perfectionist, which is a plus and a minus. It's a strength and a weakness. Being a perfectionist, personality type A, whatever you want to say, is that it has to be done accordingly to the law, or just right, or, there's no room for error. So that hurts me when I do these things. But it helps me realize that I'm human, and that sometimes I burn myself out. And that's why there's always a Thursday, where if I'm burnt out on Tuesday and I can't get to it on Wednesday because of my schedule, Thursday comes around and says, I'm here. Let's finish what we need to finish, so that on Friday when you wake up, you're going to have a fun Friday. You're going to have a family Friday. You're going to have a faithful Friday. You're going to have a fellowship Friday, okay? So let's focus on the Thursday, all right? It wouldn't be complete if there wasn't a story from Auntie Becky, okay? So just bear with me as I tell you this story. Go back to college with me, undergrad, and the professor assigned a final paper. That was the way we were going to be graded for the class. And it would turn into an actual presentation, but the biggest part was the actual paper. So you get the assignment with the do's and don'ts and what the topic is and what the requirements are and the font size and the paper size and all this stuff, And knowing me, I am a huge procrastinator. I'm honest with myself. You should be too. That's why we need to close a lot of books. I need to close that book, but it's hard. So hard. I love to procrastinate. And I'm, going through my everyday life, going to work, focusing on other classes, and kept saying, I'll get to it. Again, I worked several jobs while in college, and I, still work several jobs, own several businesses. It was all the same for me. I was a lot more active in clubs and orgs than I am now, more volunteer, more social life, and the whole nine. So I go, and I always fall off on dates. So being at home this whole time now is a little tricky, because I don't quite know what day it is all the time. I have to look at my calendar that I never put up on my wall. And I look, and I was like, oh my gosh, this paper is due tomorrow. So I immediately pick up my laptop, pull up my Word document, and I start typing. And I'm typing. And, you got to get your sources, and you got to do your research. And I haven't done anything. So it's about 10 o'clock at night, and I'm just going and I'm just getting the information I need and, so on and so forth. And I finally get to the end and it's about 1:00 in the morning. And I look, and then I decided to look over my criteria list, the things that needed to be in there, the do's and don'ts, the bylaws, the guidelines, whatever you want to call it. And it said that it had to be a certain font, with a certain amount of spacing, with a certain word count, a certain page amount. And let's just say I didn't meet half of those requirements. But I had one more day that just so happened to be a Thursday. And being that was 1:00 in the morning, and I know I had a 8:00 class, I had decided to take rest and to finish it on Thursday. So needless to say, I did get a few hours of sleep, but I woke up and I was back at it. I did not stop until that paper was done and was able to turn in before my 4:00 class. But the thing is, okay, there's always a Thursday in your life, even if it's not on a Thursday, that is available for you to finish task so you can see the finish line and reach your goal. As always, you guys know, all love, no hate. That's the only way that I operate. My name is Becky D with Becky D in the Morning, and I will talk to you all tomorrow morning.